Okay, we are live. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. So, Manchester United, a bit of positive news. Of course, finally, we picked up the win yesterday against Brentford, 2-1 win, very, very late. And look, it was not a good performance yesterday, but the difference a result like that can make to a team cannot be understated. And even today, despite the poor form we've had for many, many weeks, despite the really bad results, the bad performances at an individual level, at a club level, at a tactical level, I do have to say Manchester United feels different today, and what a difference 28, 48 hours can make to a football team. Obviously, really, really big result done there. It's good to see the guys in the comments. Thanks for hopping on in here. So we want to get talking. Let's get into this. So last night, David Beckham came out with an interesting interview. He was talking about the Qatari takeover and what it means for Manchester United. So is this something that's going to happen? It's difficult to say what has really changed in the last week, the last months with the takeover. Now, we know Radcliffe is looking at a different type of bid, maybe looking minority ownership with a view to take over in the future. We know that the Qatari side is still very, very much like, we want full takeover, but we're not raising the bid. That has to be the question. All the guys are hopping into the comments. It's good to see you guys as well. I want to get talking about what David Beckham was saying last night, first and foremost. So, David Beckham, as we know, Manchester United legend of football, but he does have very close links to the Qatari state. And he did say last night in an interview, I know the right people to take Manchester United back to the top. The interviewer then asked him, could that be Sheikh Jassim and the Qatari bid? And he did smile and he said, we will see on that one. He also went on to add, for the club, for the fans, and for the players and the manager, this is a very difficult time. We want stability, and that's the most important thing. The takeover has to come to an end. It's gotta come to an end soon, guys. It really does. Thanks for the likes so far on the video as well. Obviously, Stephanie's in there about the City plonkers as well. Yeah, that was a brilliant match as well. Not the most entertaining, but really good tactical battle. But where does this leave us with this takeover? I've been looking at this sort of international break at a time that we might see some sort of acceleration, and we've been saying this for a long, long time, guys. We really have. But I think this might be, hopefully, the point that makes the most sense for it to progress. No football now for around about 10 days, 2 weeks. This has to make some sort of progress. It really does. We've seen it talked about in recent months that October, November time would be when we are expecting to see some sort of acceleration. What's going to happen with this Qatari bid? I think Beckham being on side with it, I think that's an interesting one. I think that might endear the Qataris more to the Manchester United fans. Is this a boost to their bid? It probably already is. I feel like, even though I can see Rajat talking there about the 1958, I feel like a lot of people are very, very, very turned off by this Jim Radcliffe bit. I think him even talking about having the Glazers on board, it's a complete sellout to what we've wanted as fans for the last 20 years or so. I think talking minority ownership, that's the exact opposite of what we want. Doesn't change any of the issues at Manchester United. But I do think the problem is, will the Qatari bid change? Will they come in with another bid? Because I think it's I think it was Jarl up at the top saying, yeah, so he wishes we could be positive with the takeover, but the Qatar bid is not going to happen unless they bid again. It will not win, and that's the thing. I think they got to up the bid. If they come in with a second bid, well, another bid, sorry, then I think they will win. I think that gets it done and over the line. But I really am doubting we are going to see that happen unless something fundamentally changes. And then at what point does it end? Did the Glazers then ask for even more money? I completely understand why the Qataris are standing strong on their bid, on their stance that they're not going to have any more bids going in for Manchester United, because where does it end? But I do feel like we're getting towards the end of this. I feel like there's something. Maybe it's a gut feeling, maybe it's me being deluded, maybe it's me being really hopeful, but I feel like something is going to happen. I'm asking you guys in the poll as well, do you think Qatar can win the takeover race? I think they can. I think it's going to come down to the money they put in. If they come in with another bid, if they offer what the Glazers want, they'll probably go. Rajat, you're right as well. It's going to take $6 billion for them to win. Stephanie is surprised Hannibal didn't feature off the bench. Yeah, look, yesterday was a crazy day. It really, really was. And had Scott McTominay not scored those 2 goals, in at a time, it would be a completely different conversation right now, because people will be once again calling for the manager to be sacked. My problem is with this takeover with United at the moment, there's just lack of certainty. And as good as yesterday felt, it does still feel like we're papering over the cracks. It does still feel like we're not moving on, and we're not moving forward as well. Loads of people in the comment, a shade down there as well. Stephen is saying Qatar will up their bid. If they up the bid, I think they get it. But is it going to be enough? Will they come in with another bid? That's my question as well. Drop a like on the video as well, guys. I think we're up to 15 as well. Satwan is saying Glazer's out as well. Luman down there. Arsenal relying on Saka and Rice. Liverpool relying on Salah. City on Rodri. Spurs on Madison Basuma. Who are we relying on? Yes, good question as well. Stephanie says no expectations, no disappointments. Glazers will make a decision, so not optimistic. Yeah, absolutely. Look, I completely understand that as well. And look, I will say this from the bottom of my heart. I've been saying it for many months. There is always the possibility the Glazer family choose to stay on at Manchester United. I think the business model is broke. I don't think it's going to last too much longer. I think we're now at the point where we are finding ourselves in the exact same cycle that we've been in for the last 10 years. I think what United have to do, and I really, really do believe this, is despite the results, I think stick with Erik Ten Hag, and I think that's what we've got to be doing. Stick with the manager. Let him see through his vision until the end, and it will pay off. That's my opinion as well. Thanks for 15 likes on the video, guys, as well. And big ups as well to you guys. Sadwand is saying, Piggy Glazers out as well. Get the greedy Glazers out. Yeah, look, we want the Glazer family gone. We know this already. Rashad's down there as well. Mikel overplaying Saka. Yeah, he has been, absolutely. But look, it's going to take 6 billion for Qatar to win. It might take Radcliffe 1.5 billion for 25%. Maybe that's where it comes down to. It's going to be an interesting couple of weeks, but I'm expecting to see something. There has to be something. Otherwise, when is this takeover ever going to get solved? I think that's the problem. Like, I really, really think that's the problem. From the top to the bottom, the lack of stability, the lack of direction of this club. And look, we can point at things going wrong on the pitch. We can point at the manager, the players, and say, change those players, change that manager. I don't think anything really, truly changes unless, well, more than a superficial level, unless we bring somebody else in. Who we got down here? Pete is saying Glazer's out, of course. Rosat saying we need to let Amrabat go and get Polinia. No, absolutely not. Amrabat is far better than Yao Polinia. And I think we saw yesterday as well, big questions have to be asked about Casemiro. Is he past his best? Can he play in this team? I'm really doubting he can. Match by match, it's just getting worse and worse. It really, really is. But I want to get talking about the takeover, because it's got to come to an end at some point. At some point, we have to see some sort of progress. We've been at this for 12 months, guys. We've been at this for a year. Almost a year to the day. I remember doing the stream. Ronaldo left on the same day, and United put up their bid, of course, and said that we were looking for strategic investment opportunities. We still haven't got there. Christian is down there. Remember, before the World Cup, Garnacho scored a late winner, and we never looked back. Hopefully, we can do the same. Yeah, look, I agree absolutely with that, Christian. Hopefully, we can not look back. Hopefully, we can make that progress. Hopefully, we can come back after the internationals with a fresh team, with some players back from injury, more rest, and really attack the rest of the season. That has to be it. Liman's on there. Don't complicate things at this stage. We need to see Hannibal and Amrabat partnership. Look, yeah, I would agree with that as well. I think there's a lot of issues on the pitch with Manchester United at the moment, and despite the fact we won yesterday's match, still not good enough performance-wise from a lot of players. Rashford took off after 60 minutes, the third time in a row he's been subbed off with over 30 minutes left in the match. Casemiro subbed off at half-time. Ten Hag saying he took Casemiro off because he wanted to play more football. That's what I think. I think we're relying a lot on these players who are just not performing for us. I think Lindelof, another one. I'm not going to let Onana off the hook either. It's not been good enough for him as well. Look, but I'm agreeing with Daz. The break might be doing us more harm than good in some respects. It might be doing us more good than harm in other respects. It's going to be an interesting one. It is, because Manchester United players, I'm not expecting a lot of them to play a lot of minutes on international break. Hopefully that can be a good time off, because we still look heavy. We still look heavy-footed not fit, not up to scratch, not sharp. So hopefully that can help us. Hopefully it'll get some rest into those players. Liman says Ten Hag has played Bruno on the right and mounted to 10. If yes, then Ten Hag out, and if not, yesterday was the first time playing them. Ten Hag in. Yeah, look, people flip flop all the time. I think yesterday we looked better with Anthony on the pitch because Anthony is a right winger as well. Jarl is saying as well, one opinion on the takeover: if Qatar is to win, they need to bid again. If not, Jim Ratcliffe will be Manchester's new owner. I will agree with Jarl. I think unless the Qataris go in with another bid, it's not going to happen. But I think having Beckham on side, I think the sort of talk we're seeing from people who might be close to this sort of situation might be positive. But I think a lot still has to change. A lot still has to happen for this to be over the line. I think number one, obviously, it's got to be either the Qataris upping their bid or pulling out of the race. That's what I think it's going to come down to. That's what I think we're at that point now. If they're not going to bid, the Glazers clearly will not accept, so it's going to go to Radcliffe. Then there's no point Qatar even being in there as well. Can I let us know why Ten Hag did not play Hannibal yesterday? It's a good question. I think we went defensive. We went attacking. That was clearly the objective. We give a lot of protection to that back four. A lot of protection. Casemiro and Amrabat is about as defensive as we can go. Rajat, unfortunately, Beckham doesn't have the money. I think he's got about £500 million. I think that's about his net worth. It's crazy money, like, but it's not enough to buy Manchester United. Stephen says Jim Ratcliffe will never have Manchester United. It might happen. That's the thing. Look, it really, really might happen. But a lot of things have to change. I think we've got to see more movement. I think the Qataris clearly are not going to buy Manchester United at this moment in time unless they go in with another bid or they change their bid. That's what it's got to be. Unless they go in and say, let's not offer any more money, but let's offer 25% and we'll take 75% of the club. Then they still got majority ownership. I don't know. Stephen says people have totally underestimated Qatar's wealth and power in negotiations. Yeah, look, that's true. But the big thing with the Qatari bid as well, they've lost a lot of money on Credit Suisse going bust. That has cost them billions and billions. That's a real issue. Why can't the class of 92 combine and buy the club? They probably still don't have the money either, unfortunately. Look, it's going to take a lot of money. It's going to take a lot of money to get this deal over the line. Thanks for the likes as well, guys. We're up to 17. Can we get to 20? Would be really appreciated. But yeah, look, what's got to happen is either Qatar new bid or pull out. Like, because their bid's not going anywhere at this moment in time. Radcliffe seems to be more willing to change his bid, to alter it, to look for different avenues. And if that continues, he'll eventually come across something that the Glazer family will accept. And that for me is a big issue. Because the Radcliffe bid, keeping the Glazers on, it doesn't solve our problems. But I can't see Qatar winning at this moment in time either. Stephen, look, you're right, absolutely, it's 590 billion, but it's not the Qatari state buying United, it's Sheikh Jassim's private wealth. And he lost a lot of that when Credit Suisse went bust as well. That's a big issue for him as well. Stephanie says proper left back returning will help the team balance, but it looks like Mount and Bruno can't. I have to say, guys, look, I know people are not crazy about Mason Mount, but I think in recent weeks he's played really, really well. I think Bruno's been a bigger issue in the last couple of matches. Liman says there's no guarantee Qatar will be good owners. At least Radcliffe is showing his intention. Look, I would agree with that as well. I think it really is going to come down to the Qataris coming in with another bid, or it's going to come down to Radcliffe just taking over. Look, I think the Beckham quotes are interesting, but what does it really mean? What does it really change? And that's my question. Because I don't know. I can't see the Glazer family taking less than 6 billion. That's the asking price. It has always been the asking price. So unless the Qataris are gonna come in with that bid, then where do we stand? Either Stephen says this is not Sheikh Jassim bid. Look, it is state ownership, but the funds seem to be coming from Sheikh Jassim. Unless, if it's not, we probably have Qatari ownership by now as well. Christian says Ten Hag didn't trust the backline. It's sad to see the manager struggle to get results out of a talented group of players. Yeah, look, that's a good one as well. Look, I think in terms of the game yesterday, it really did show some of the worst aspects of this team. I think we got massive problems at centre back. I think Lindelof has been a real problem. I think Onana has been very, very poor. But make no mistake about it, we still shouldn't be having De Gea here just because Onana is not playing well either. Just because Onana might not be the solution to the problem doesn't mean that David De Gea was not an issue to start with as well. But I do think United's gonna have to do something. And Ten Hag's got to do something as well. It might be dropping Casemiro from the team and playing Amrabat. It might be bringing Kobbie Mainoo back into the side. It might be dropping Bruno Fernandes or Marcus Rashford. I think something's got to do as well. Who's Sheikh Sim's father? He's the one putting the money in. Look, I know that that's true, but until they come in with that next bid, until they up the offer, as Rajad is saying, it's gonna be an issue. And you're absolutely right. Qatar do need to redevelop. Another billion, 1.5 billion might be what it takes. So I don't know. Like, I really don't. The bid they put in, this final bid, we've been sitting on it for a long time. And nothing's really happened. I think the Glazer family would take that bid if on the condition that Radcliffe dropped out. But I think Radcliffe staying in the race has meant that the Glazer family can sit and hold off and bide their time. I think we saw a lot of movement and we saw real talk of the takeover heating up around about June, July sort of time. And during that time, the Qatari said this was the last bid. If not, we're pulling out of the race. And that sped it up because that kind of ends the Glazer game. The Glazer game has always been take Radcliffe on one side, take Sheikh Sim on the other, play them off each other, get them to raise their bids. So when Radcliffe comes in with the bid, the Qatari's going with the bid. And when the Qatari's going with a better bid, then Radcliffe has that his bid. That's the issue here. Unless one of them pull out, and I don't see Radcliffe pulling out at this point because he's really, really whittling it down. Daz says it's Jasim's family wealth as well, simple as that. Stephanie says, well, I thought Monk was an upgrade on Eriksen, but the more I think about it, maybe he was signed as a Bruno alternative. He might be. That could be an issue as well. I like Mason Mount. I feel like Mason Mount is probably what a possession-based team want to have as their creative midfielder because he holds on to the ball a lot more than Bruno. Maybe the way forward for Manchester United is putting Kobbie Mainoo in midfield as a sort of box-to-box, progressive player, get on the ball, dribble, make the space. Play with an Amrabat to keep things ticking over in that number 6 position and have Mason Mount further forward. I think Bruno is an interesting one because obviously the numbers speak for themselves, but I think his performance has been quite poor this season. So I think there's questions to be had there as well. Who else we got down here? Liman, news that Lucky Singh is still at Old Trafford protesting silently, staring at the leaking roof. That says as well, they've already given the Glazers 6 by paying off the debt. Remember this, the lower the share price, the more the Glazers get from the 9-2 Foundation. B shares are worth 10 times more voting power. Yeah, look, that's the thing. It comes down to the shares as well. The shares are the big one because the B shares have all the voting power. The A shares, which are the ones that anybody can buy in the stock market, they are shares that have no voting rights as well. Liman says Eriksen and Mount play in the same position in the attacking number 10. Bourne is down there as well. This page is still alive. How come you're not active most of the time? Yeah, look, we are still alive, man. We have been making less content. Unfortunately, I've been very, very busy at work, returning to the office and stuff, not being at home. So that kind of kills it as well. But there's not really as much news and stuff to go through during the week as well. That obviously over the summer we had transfer news every single day. So we've been doing our watch alongs. We've been doing these sort of update videos as well. But I am going to try bring some more to you guys as well. Going to try do some more short videos because they're quick, they're easy to get out, and you guys seem to like them. So we'll do some of those. We'll make some other long videos as well. Probably record something after this video as well. I have a couple of ideas I want to do as well. He also we got Rajat saying, do we want Arsenal or City to win the title? We don't want either. And Stephen says nobody knows what the bids are. Yeah, look, the bids are just coming down to conjecture, rumors from the insiders, but until those NDAs expire, we can't really say too much about them either. Hey, also we got in the comments, Everett says, give the Seagulls side with Liverpool. Le Mans says Arsenal all the way. Mine could do both roles as well. Hate Arsenal fans more than the club. Yeah, look, I have no problem with Arsenal Football Club. I think the fans are very, very annoying as well, guys. Thanks for the likes as well. We're up to saying, can we get to 20? That would be much appreciated. Cuffy says Ten Hag is not listening to advice. I always advise him not to start Bruno, Rashford, and Mount all the time, but we still do that. Yeah, look, these are important players to us. Some of these players are always going to play. That much is clear and obvious. Obviously, we want to see young players coming through. We still have some very good players, but I think they've got to be proper elite level to make it at this club. Really, really do. And as much as it's annoying to see the likes of Zidane Iqbal, Charlie Savage, players like that go, they probably were not Manchester United level. I think the likes of Kobe Minu, Alejandro Garnacho, Facundo Pellistri, these are players we could develop into something as well. Stephen says Qatar could drop the bid to increase the pressure back on the Glazers. Yeah, look, I think it's going to take another bid. That much is clear, that much is obvious, because the Glazer family are clearly not going to take this 5 billion. Otherwise, they would have accepted it in June. So we are now sitting 4 months later in October. So they're going to have to come in with another bid at some point, or they're going to have to restructure it, or they're going to have to do something that's going to change it. Have to do something. That's what they really, really need to do. So whether that's going to be in the form of letting buying 75%, 80% of the club, maybe then trying to buy the rest of the shares at a later date. Maybe that's what they can do if they don't want to offer more money. But I don't know what they can do, really. I think it really weakens their position. Obviously, look, if you go in with a final bid and you say, this is my last offer, no more after this, this is it, set, dry, this is all that we will be offering to you for this bid. Then you turn around and say, a couple of months later, okay, you're obviously not going to take it, here's more money. What's stopping the Glazers asking for even more after that? So it's going to take something big. I think it might take the Radcliffe pulling out, if that's going to be an option. It might take a restructure of the bid. Something's got to change, because I just can't see the Qatar bid for Manchester United succeeding at this moment in time. And look, there's more momentum behind the Radcliffe bid, because he seems to be more willing to go out there and change what it's going to be. Daz says, personally, if I had 6 billion, I would give him steam off my piss. Liman says, who says Shazim is a real fan of United and Qataris will take full control of Manchester United, says a sheet as well. Yeah, look, it's genuinely going to take something big. It really is, guys. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for the votes on the poll. Let me just double check the results at the moment. So I had asked you guys, do you think the Qataris can win this takeover race? Not will they win, not should they win, just can they? A lot of you guys seem to think so, yes. 77% are going for the yes. We have 16% for not sure. Only 7% are saying that they cannot win. I think they can. Make no mistake about it. They've got the money for it. They have that sort of wealth that they can do this, but they have to come out and do it at some point. It's all well and good having this wealth on paper. They've got to come in with another bid, or they've got to come in with something the Glazer family are going to accept. So whatever that's going to be, that's what's going to have to be. You know, they have to come out with something. They really do. And I think it's coming down to stability as well. I think David Beckham is really interesting in what he's been saying. I think when he's talking about stability for the fans, for the players, the club, the manager, I think that goes a long way. Because at the moment, a lot of things are up in the air about Manchester United. And I think people within the industry, people within football, they know themselves that until the Glazer family actually go, that not a lot's going to change at this club. We're always going to find ourselves in this circle, in this cycle as well. Rajaj are right as well. They've got to bid or drop it again. Absolutely. Liman says he's visited Old Trafford in the past as a fan. Yeah, I'm sure he has as well. Oh, wait. Oh, Sheikh the same. Yeah, look, we've seen the photos and stuff. Sheikh saying the Qataris don't like to lose, so they will up their bid. But it's just, when does this come in? When does it happen? Yeah, look, we've seen him at Old Trafford before, but it's when does this bid come in? When does he go in and change things with the bid? That's my question. We're not seeing this takeover happening anytime soon. It's really not. And at the current rate of going, there might not be new owners in time for Manchester United to actually go into next summer with new ownership. That might not happen at this time because I don't see this takeover being resolved unless we see bids going in, unless we see people going in with better offers. The Glazers taking the Radcliffe offer. I don't see it happening. And then after that, we have a lot of stuff. We got to buy stocks off the market. We got to go out. We got to go to the Glazers, and they have to accept it. We got to go to the Premier League. They have to allow the takeover as well. David's on there. Don't let the rat near Manchester United. Absolutely. Look, I think the Radcliffe bid for United is really, really bad. It's not what we want to see. It's not what we need to see. It's not what Manchester United need in this time. We need the debt cleared. We need new stadium brought in. We need new players. We need new investment. We're not getting that with this bid from Radcliffe. We're really, really not, guys. Rashad says, feel the Glazers don't want to go Radcliffe bid so they can stay and attach another name to the club. It might be as well. Stephanie says the Glazers raised it 10 months ago looking for strategic alternatives to enhance the club's growth rather than new investment or sales or transactions, leaving the options open. Yeah, look, that's all that is. Because if they came out and said the club was for sale and then never sold the club, there would have been a lot of trouble with the stock market, with the financial bodies and stuff. That's what happens. So it's always put in a way that there's always a get out of jail card. There's always a way they can twist it and warp it and stuff. That's what they're playing at as well. Drop a like on the video as well, guys. We're up to 19. Can we get up to 30 likes on this video? Only takes 1 second to hit the like button as well. Cuffy's down there with the youths deserve more playing time because there's no pressure on them. The seniors are not playing well, and look at the youth teams are playing for other ones as well. Yeah, look, that's definitely true. And there's a lot of young players coming through who can make a big difference at Manchester United. A lot of them. I think we'll see a lot from Kobbie Mainoo this season. Expect more from Garnacho, especially with Rashford seemingly falling out of favour. If Casemiro and Rashford keep playing the way they are, we'll see more of Mainoo. We'll see more of Alejandro Garnacho, of course. We might see more from Facundo Pellistri. I think that's exciting. We want to see that as well. Other than that, there's not too many breaking through at this moment in time. I think the current youth academy setup for the young players, it's not looking good in terms of defenders. We're really not seeing a lot of fullbacks or centre backs. That's a concern as well. No real strikers coming through either. A lot of midfielders, a lot of wide players, some of them very exciting, of course, but some of those players definitely will get time. Expect to see it from Mainoo. Expect to see it from Garnacho. Maybe we'll see some of Dan Gore. Maybe more of Hannibal. These are players who can make an impact this season and already have done as well. Daz is done there. The Glazers are just passing the buck, going with Jim. Yeah, look, it's one of those. It kind of lets them stay. I think what their position is, they expect the money in football to keep increasing. There's a massive issue if it doesn't, because Manchester United fundamentally are a club who do not rely on the wealth of the owners. We rely upon the wealth that we create through sales, through revenues, TV deals, sponsorship, stuff like that. That's what Manchester United rely upon, because the money coming in is never, ever from the ownership. I do think that there will come a day, there will come a time where we will be at our maximum in terms of that revenue coming in. Manchester United can only make so much money if we're not successful. We can only sell so many shirts. We can only get so many TV deals. There's no time in the calendar for more football. There's no time to have new expansions to the stadium to try bring money in. That's just not existing as well. Jinma is down there as well. Good to see you back as well, man. The Newcastle takeover took 18 months. I expect this to take longer. Look, we're 12 months in. I think United being a public company, that will probably upset it at some point. Drop a like on the video, guys, as well. And if you are new, please consider hitting the sub. Lots more content coming up as well. Ashid's on there. No strategic plan. They thought many bids would come in for the size and the name of the club. They were absolutely wrong. No, you're correct with that as well. They thought a lot would come in. And I remember 12 months ago, at the start of the year even, there was talk about Dubai being in for the club. There was talk about Apple maybe being in. There was talk about Elon Musk of all people. Of course, there was a lot of other people as well. There was talk about the Saudis. There was talk about the Qataris, of course. A lot of it has fallen away. I don't think the Glazer family thought when they tried to cash their chips in that there would only be 2 interested parties, and they're still playing their game. I think it'll take one of them to drop out, I can't see Radcliffe dropping out at this time because he's very, very willing to change his bid. He has said from day one, he initially said he wanted 100% of the club. Then it was majority ownership. Then it was 50%. And now it's 25%. So Radcliffe is showing a willingness to drop down and a willingness to do anything to try get his hands on the team eventually. I'm not seeing it from Qatar. So unless they up that bid, I can't see things changing as well. Rajat's down there with some good comments as well. Cannot wait until Malacia, Ahmad, Menu, and Luke Shaw are back. Martinez as well, but that's a late January. Yes, of course, absolutely it will be. So that will take a while to get done. But I think the balance of the team will improve definitely. I think we need a left back in the team. I think having Wan-Bissaka in might help us. I think Delo has impressed in the last couple of matches. I think there's big decisions to be made about this team in general, though. I think a lot of these players, we got to be asking questions. I think Casemiro, I think Onana, Bruno, Lindelof, Marcus Rashford, these are players who do need to be questioned about their performances this season. And I think we have options to answer some of those questions in the team. I think Amrabat instead of Casemiro, that answers itself. I don't know about the goalkeeping situation. I don't think Erik Ten Hag will drop Onana for Altay Bayandere. We haven't seen Bayandere yet. We don't even know how he's going to play, if he's going to be any good as well. I think we've got Kobe Menu coming through. That might help with the Eriksen Bruno kind of issue. I guess we can see more Garnacho as well for the Rashford thing, but I think there definitely is improvements needed to this team as well. Who else we got down below, guys? Jinmo says we make the money on our own. The Glazers do not give a penny, and yet we're able to spend a ridiculous amount of money. Yeah, look, a lot of that, some of it's bought on credits. It's not all club money as well. That's something else that we do have to talk about. But there's definitely a lot that Manchester United do earn, and we do earn a lot of money. And I think if we have an ownership willing to spend the money, to put their money in on the big investments, on paying off the debt, on paying for a new stadium, on paying for a brand new training facility, I think Manchester United can basically run themselves. It's why a lot of people have said Manchester United, we don't need a sugar daddy. We're not like Newcastle. We're not like Man City, who need fake companies set up to give them sponsorships. We earn enough money as it is as well, guys. Hey, else we've got down below, Rashad saying bid from Zara and Amazon as well to buy United. Le Mans down there, are you talking as if you have a source in the Alfanis family? Stephanie as well, good job there's no watch along on the channel yesterday. I might need to install a swear box. Yeah, look, that was unfortunate. I had the watch along almost ready to go, set up, and then my laptop crashed. And then I don't know what happened. It wouldn't turn on for a long time. Thankfully, I'm running off a different laptop, so everything seems to be better. I'm running smoothly. That's what we want to see. Jimma down there as well shows how big the club are, that we're too big for the rich to miss out. United are so well known, and that brings us money. Bear in mind, we're still paying off a lot of debt. Of course we are. Of course we are. And make no mistake about it, this team, the things we could achieve without the Glazer family would be mind-boggling. It really would be. We could easily spend £200 million per season on the transfers alone, and the owner can invest their money in the stadium and the facilities, and we could have the best of pretty much everything as well. Bourne is down there, from what I know. The lead with it. Newcastle Takeover was the Premier League, but in this case, it's Radcliffe and the Leechers. Yeah, look, it's both those factors combined. Absolutely, that's a massive issue. I think, look, if Radcliffe pulls out, I think the Qataris get it. I think if the Qataris pull out, Radcliffe gets it. We're kind of still in a staring match, and nobody's blinking just yet. But I think someone is gonna come close. The eyes are watering. They're struggling to keep their eyes open at this time. It's gonna happen eventually. It really is. Yeah, guys, thanks for 23 likes on the video as well. Man, I missed a comment. Which one was that, man? What one was that, man? Let me just double check. I'll scroll up. Was that who says Sheikh Jassim is a fan of Man United? Was that it? Might just have to put it back in. There was quite a few came in there as well. Yeah, if you want to just put the comment back in there, Limang, I can't see where it was. There was a lot of comments came in at the same time there. But yeah, guys, certainly stuff's gonna happen down there. Wasim's down there. PR spin, absolutely, man. I don't think it's any mistake that we see talk about takeover stuff happening whenever results aren't going right. I think the club themselves know that that is the single biggest thing that can happen. And I think even the boost of knowing the club would be sold would be absolutely massive to the season. I think to the fans, we'd have so much more energy. I think to the players, they would feel it. Ten Hag would feel it. The stability would be a lot better. Jinma is down there as well. We are not a bad team. I see no point in sacking the manager. If sacking the manager won't work, yeah, absolutely. And Rashad says Haaland is disappearing. Yeah, look, he is. But yeah, look, sacking the manager, I don't think it's the right call. I think I want to stay the course with some manager. I think Ten Hag is probably that guy. I think when we look at Arsenal, I think they won the FA Cup in Arteta's first stint as the caretaker manager. He got the permanent job, of course, and then it went on. He finished 8th place twice. He finished 5th. And then he went on and finished 2nd. And now Arsenal are title contenders again. I think at some point we've got to see it through with Erik Ten Hag. I think we've got to give him the ability to see through the project. And let's just stick it out. Because what's the worst that can happen? Because I can tell you, sacking Ten Hag, bringing De Zerbi, or bringing Nagelsmann, or bringing Hansi Flick, it's not going to work. Because we'll find ourselves in this situation. Until the Glazer family go, we're going to be in this exact same spot as well. I don't think it'll help. I really don't. Lemon says Ten Hag won't be sacked as the Glazers have to pay him 18 million. Yeah, look, Ten Hag's probably benefiting in some senses from the takeover stuff as well. This isn't a decision that the Glazer family are likely to make whilst new ownership could be coming in. That will be something a new owner will want to have their own say on, of course. Drop a comment in there as well, guys. Let me know your thoughts on Manchester United so far this season. We want to get talking about it because it's the international break. It's a time for reflection. It's a time to regroup. I think a lot of things are going wrong in the pitch. I think a lot of things are going wrong off the pitch. But I think within Manchester United, there's a lot more quality. And that's why one of the reasons why I'm saying stick by the manager. Because I think genuinely this team can be a lot better than what we have been so far this season. Stephanie says we can win our next 3 games. Sheffield, Copenhagen, City, we're back on track. Yeah, look, we're 6 points off City. We are only 6 points off City. We're a point behind Newcastle. You're having a brilliant season. We are not too far. It's too early in the season to write it off. I think results have got to improve, but I think as a football club, a lot of things need to happen as well. Who else we got in the comments? Let me see. Rajat says it's in the 20 million. We'll play Brentford on the 21st of October. I would be surprised at that. But maybe it flicks around. I'm not 100% sure, man. Let me see. Jinma, the truth is we need the money to replace the whole defence to make the goalkeeper we bought to fit in like Pep did with City. We have examples in front of us. Yeah, look, I think Varane is an issue with the fitness. I think Martinez was never fit this season, and that's why he's picked up the exact same injury again. I think Luke Shaw has been out. He's been poor. I think Lindelof is really an issue. I actually think Harry Maguire played quite well yesterday. I actually think Maguire had a good match. And look, I'm not a big fan of Maguire, but I think we got to play him instead of Lindelof. Probably because he's more aggressive. Lindelof and Varane, they're both players who like to sit back and they like to sweep up in behind. But what happens when you play them both is that they both drop off and it leaves these big spaces. Maguire at least attacks it. I think there's a real argument to play Johnny Evans ahead of Maguire and Lindelof, personally, in my opinion. Let me see who else have we got in the comments. Ashid saying, do I think Ten Hag will get sacked if new owners take over? I would keep him by my choice. Yeah, look, I think they'll stick by him. I think they know he's a good manager. I think they'll have looked at the results over the last 12 months and not in the last 6 weeks. And see that's a real indication of Erik Ten Hag. After 40 Premier League matches, he had the 2nd most points in Premier League history. He's not a bad manager. Does he make mistakes? Yeah, absolutely he does. Does a lot of his decisions, do some of them backfire? Of course they do. But every manager does that. Nobody's talking about Pep losing 3 out of the last 4. It can happen to any manager. I think United's players don't help him. I think we've got to cut out these individual errors. And if United weren't making stupid mistakes on the pitch with stupid bad passes out of the back, leaving players unmarked, I think would be a lot better position, because very few teams, even this season, as bad as we've played, have genuinely turned up and played really well against us. I don't think Bayern played well against us in the Champions League. Galatasaray didn't. Brighton played well against us. Yeah, absolutely. Crystal Palace, they shouldn't have won that match. It was a stupid mistake. I think looking across the season, a lot of matches we've lost, Manchester United, if we cut out the stupid mistakes, we wouldn't have lost them as well. Who else have we got down below? France is down there. United have been below par. There's no clarity in approach this term. No, there's not. And that's my concern. I think I would like to see more of a style of play. That's something I have to say for Erik Ten Hag. I think we brought in players to play his style of play, and it's still not there. I know there's issues with the fitness. I know there's issues with the players in the team, but we should be playing better. And that comes down to the manager as well. I think there's not much Ten Hag can really do about some of the bad decisions. I think that goal yesterday for Brentford is a perfect example of that as well, guys. We've seen it initially. Maguire played it to Casemiro. Casemiro then played it straight to the Brentford player. Ball fell in the box to Lindelof. He played it right back to Brentford. And then Brentford got the shot off and it went right through Onana's hand. That's three big problems, 3 silly mistakes in about 10 seconds, and it cost us the goal in that one. So I think Ten Hag's got to work on the structure. He's got to work on the approach, how we play. But I think the players also need to concentrate. There's a real lack of concentration in this team. And I think we see this across the board. It's why so many times this season, when we score a goal, we can see the goal straight away after. Happened 3 times against Galatasaray. It happened 4 times against Bayern Munich, and it's been an ongoing thing. Happened against Arsenal as well. Who else have we got down there? She says we're playing Sheffield United. Yeah, Sheffield, we should be beaten now. Was I happy with the lineup against Brentford? I think it's the best we could have went with. I do. I know the Rashford issue is still there, but I think I get why we're playing him, because he is still a player who can score or assist, even if he's playing badly. I think I would like to see Garnacho giving more time. I would like to see that for sure. One thing I would like to see would be Antony on that left-hand side. I want to see what he can do on that left foot, get some crosses into the box towards Højlund. I think that might be an issue, and that might be something we can make the most of. I think Bruno's not going to get dropped. He is the captain, unfortunately, but I do think there's a lot more to come from his game. I think Casemiro's got a big problem, because I think he's been really below par probably since the Carabao Cup final. Since after that match, I think he's been very, very poor. He looks burnt out. He looks tired. And honestly, if a big offer came in the summer for him from Saudi Arabia or somewhere, I would probably take it and look to replace him. I think there was a reason why Real Madrid sold him. I think Varane's the same. Although Varane is a better player, I think the issue with Varane has always been fitness as well. Who else have we got down below, guys? I can see loads of comments flying in. Rajat says, have 30 Premier League games to go. Absolutely. We can improve upon that one. Wasim says, I missed a comment. Oh, there it is. It's so long since we're hearing about player power in United. Look, it's still there as well, man. Look, make no mistake about it, Wasim. It is still there. It can be, it's not as much as it was, but I think it's still an issue at this club. I still think the players do down tools very, very, very easily as well. Jinba's down there. There are so much examples to show that decisions the owners need to make that it becomes virtually impossible for the owner to make a mistake. Chelsea has shown the negative side. Yeah, look, it's true. It's absolutely true with Chelsea as well, man. You're correct on that one. Bourne is down there. I agree with you. Ten Hag is not a solution, but the structure around him, which is bad. Even Pep or Klopp handle in the setup. Rangnick was spot on. Yeah, look, Rangnick was. Absolutely. Sheed says stick by Ten Hag. And Rajat says keep Ten Hag as well. Look, I think Rangnick was right. And the reason why Ralph Rangnick got the sack, the reason why he was kicked out of Manchester United, was they were happy for him to blame the players. When Ralph Rangnick started to blame the board and the ownership, that's why he was let go. Make no mistake about it. He spoke the truth. Look, as a manager, yeah, he wasn't good enough. Like, his results were awful. But what we can say, and we can say this for sure, is that as a director, he'll be doing very good stuff at United. Make no mistake about it. Liman says, how about Ten Hag's comedy lineup, starting Rashford, Bruno, Casemiro, and Onana? Jeremy, good to see you as well, man. Some sauce in those fries, absolutely. Franz is saying Ten Hag keeps saying the errors can't be repeated, but then they get repeated. Yeah, they do. I think he's got decisions to make. And I think one of them is going to be Casemiro. I think one of them is going to be Rashford. I think Bruno's less of an issue. I think Onana is a problem as well. But I can't see him really changing his goalkeeper. I would be surprised to see Bayern or Tom Heaton playing. So I think Onana will look better with a more settled back four in front of him. I think that will help his confidence, but I think certainly big problems in this team as well. He's got to really, really improve, in my opinion. As Jimbo says, there's so much change to the lineup every week that it becomes impossible for the players to fit in. Yeah, it's true. Absolutely. Is Ten Hag only ruthless on certain players? It's a good question, that Luman. Yeah. I think in some ways he probably is. I feel like there's players who we know we can get more out of. I think there's players he trusts and players he doesn't trust. I think we look at the likes of Maguire, we look at McTominay, we probably look at Lindelof. I don't think he can trust those players to deliver. I think he looks at Garnacho, Pellistri, Hannibal, and says, yeah, look, these are good players, but we can't always rely on young players to play good because they will be inconsistent. You always get that with the young players. So that's something he's probably thinking about. He does need the experience in there, but I do think some players need to be dropped. I think Casemiro, I think Rashford need to be dropped. I think Onana, there's growing question marks every single game. I think Rashford, of course. Bruno, I would be surprised if he was dropped. I don't think he's going to drop his. I don't think he's going to drop his club captain. I would be surprised at that. Rajat says play Garnacho in the next game against Sheffield. Yeah, look, absolutely. Stephanie says been saying Anthony needs to play on the right for a while. Don't get the inverted winger nonsense. Means Rashi and Anthony always shoot. Yeah, look, it's too one-dimensional. Inverted wingers can work very, very well. Make no mistake about it. But I think if you look at what Mohamed Salah does at Liverpool, he scores all their goals. He's their main goal scorer, of course. But he knows when to pass. He comes inside, he'll go outside, he'll pass, he'll let off, he'll look for link up. I think Anthony and Rashford too interested in shooting for sure. It make no mistake about it. When Rashford was put on the right side against Galatasaray, we got a goal. And he assisted it. And we've seen that a couple of times this season. When you put Anthony on the left or Rashford on the right, you're forcing them to cross, forcing them to look for the options. I think that can be really beneficial to how we play. Limon says the Glazers have been let down by the people and the top level. No, I don't think so, Limon, because yeah, look, they might have been let down in some regards, but those those guys in the board are the guys they appointed, so they have every power to go out and change that. So if they don't want Richard Arnold running the club, they can just do that. They can just sack him and bring somebody else in. Jim is on there. If the winger wasn't inverted, it often creates less chances than inverted. Yeah, it's true. It depends what you want from your team. I think we've been set up for a long time with Rashford as the main goal scorer, so that's why we've been playing left inverted. I think there's a nice balance when we play one inverted and one wide player. I think you get that with Pellistri, for example. I think that brings some more width and balance. So if we had a more experienced player there than Pellistri, I think we would try it more often. That's probably where Sancho could fit in if he wanted to, but he's not going to apologise. Who else we got down below? Rajat saying Ten Hag has brought in Anthony to play right wing. Absolutely. So I would be surprised if it changes. Onana has to play through the bad form. Yeah, I think he does. I think his confidence will improve. I think we can see the passion and the relief in the guy. It's not that he doesn't care. I think he's making mistakes, but I think he's low on confidence as well. I think if we see Onana with a settled back four with Dalot at right back or Wan-Bissaka, Varane, Martinez, Luke Shaw, and Amrabat ahead of them, I think that gives him the options he needs. I think people question the passing game that he brings, but I don't think he has the options and the runners all the time either. Jeremy's down there. Garnacho MVP need to drop Rashi. Yeah, look, I'm totally for it as well. Garnacho needs game time. Let's give him it. Rosat said leads to more shots and leading up to shot actions. Yeah, look, it does when Anthony plays right wing. I think it's one-dimensional sometimes. I think yesterday was a good example of what goes right with Anthony because he held his width nicely, made the pitch bigger, and that helped us as well. Who else we got down below? Franz is saying, why can't the wingers cross the ball? 5 proper crosses for Rasmus. He has the height, upper strength, and pace. Why can't they cross? Yeah, look, that's been a frustration of mine for a long, long time as well. Action saying turning point because you beat Brentford. Look, things have been bad for Manchester United. It's not the beating Brentford. I think it's what that can do for a team. And that's what I think really can make a difference. Last season, we saw a turning point when we beat Liverpool, for example. But then it went off the rails again. It wasn't until we beat Fulham and went into the international break for the World Cup that we really started to look good afterwards. I think it's building confidence. I think you can see what it meant to the players. You can see what it meant to the manager, the celebration, the relief. And yes, it's beating Brentford. And we should be beating Brentford regardless. but we haven't been beating teams like that all season. That's the issue here. We haven't been beating the Palace, the looking bad against Forest and Wolves. We haven't beat the likes of Brighton. We lost when we should have won against Bayern Munich and Galatasaray. Those were matches we should have won, but we didn't. So I think, yeah, whilst it's only Brentford, it's still 3 points, and it's a big comeback win. And I think the confidence, I think the morale that could bring to this team could be really beneficial. And it's an interesting one, because on one hand, yeah, the actual international break, does that screw us over at this time, or is it a good thing for us? We have some momentum, we have some confidence, we have a boost to the morale of this team, absolutely. But we also need a lot of players back. Hopefully after the internationals, we'll have Luke Shaw or Malacia, maybe both back. Amad Diallo can come back, get some minutes under his belt. Kobbie Mainoo, for instance. Varane should be back as well. That's going to help us out. That's really going to help this team out as well. 31 likes says Stephanie. Yes, guys, thanks so much for the likes. Can we get up to 35, let's say? Jinma, never seen this full starting 11 play together since last season. No, we haven't. Rashford didn't celebrate, didn't smile. I didn't see that at all, Luman. I'll have to go back and check out for that one, but it wasn't something I've noticed too much. Although I did see some fake reporting put out there. I think it was Centre Devils on Twitter. They were saying Rashford was booed off the pitch and Garnacho was cheered. It was Garnacho got cheered onto the pitch, as Manchester United players always do at Old Trafford. So 68 votes on the poll as well, guys. We have 78% of you guys going for yes, Qatar can win that takeover race. 15% say you're not sure, and 7% say no. I think it's, look, just to go back to where we were at the start of the show, I think it's going to take a lot for this takeover to get done. I think it's going to take someone backing out, putting a better bid in, absolutely. Stephanie celebrated by throwing the teacup out of the window. Absolutely. Yeah, look, I was driving as well. Rajat says he's too selfish, Rashford. Yeah, look, I think his decision making's been poor. It really, really has. I think even against Galatasaray, when he tried to pass it, it wasn't on. For a guy 25 years old, it should be better. Make no mistake about it. He's still a great player. Still a lot of ability there. A lot of look, he can score goals. He's got the pace. He's got the dribbling. He's got the passing. There's something. I don't think it's an actual skill issue. I think it's a mentality issue. I think there is something wrong with the mentality there, and we've seen it not last season, but the year before. It kind of looks similar to that. He's trying a lot. It's not coming off. If he played simpler, it might be easier. It might be if he just used his pace, ran at the fullbacks instead of running into 5 or 6 players trying to cut inside. Jimmo says Ten Hag can't for the 3 points park the bus, even though he doesn't have the right. He has said to play high press. Yeah, look, we want to play high press. We want to play possession and control, but we don't get it. And that's why I'm so happy with Sofian Amrabat. And look, a lot of people might say he didn't play exceptionally well yesterday. He played 65 passes. He had 97% pass accuracy. He had 37 forward passes. That's what we want. That's what we need. Casemiro had around 15 forward passes. A lot lower pass accuracy. And that's so important in that position. Look what Declan Rice did for Arsenal today. Look what Rodri does when he plays for Man City. That's what we need from that type of player. You need them to be the linchpin, the guy controlling the tempo. I think Amrabat did a really good job of that. I think Casemiro is a question we got that needs answered because his performance haven't been good. And look, the midfield is still disjointed. Bruno when he gets the ball, Casemiro when he gets the ball, even Mount for maybe less than the other two want to play it forward and really quickly. It doesn't always work. We're surrendering possession too easily as well. Let's see. Rashi too expert to score. The harder you try, the harder it gets. Yeah, that's true as well. What's the plan for the international break? Yeah, look, we're going to do some videos as well. So I think the plan is this week, Le Mans, and just for anybody else watching, I think what we're going to do is probably live tomorrow night, live on Wednesday, Thursday, and then we'll do Saturday, Sunday shows next week. We're gonna try to do some short videos as well. I'm maybe gonna do some videos as well, looking at some of the issues with the team, how we can improve and stuff. If you guys want to see that, and if you guys have any suggestions for videos as well, anything you want to see covered, let me know down below. More than happy to take on some ideas as well. Born is saying United have bad negotiators who offer stupid money to players after a half decent run of form. Yeah, look, I've said for a while, if you look at Manchester United, you can see the last 10, 15 years at this club condensed into 12 months by looking at Chelsea. Spending a lot of money, not buying the right players, not buying the right profiles, not buying who you need to fix positions. That's something we gotta get fixing on as well. Jarl is saying if you look at Rashford playing when he scored every game now, it's a completely different player. He is trying to sabotage the team. I think he's trying to play himself into form. We get this sometimes with players. They want to try to play themselves back into form, and I think he's trying too hard. I think if Rashford helped the forward line click, he would get more goals and assists, and then he'll be looking confident again. It's one of those things. Sometimes the more you try to do and the more you try to control, the worse it gets. Maybe he has to go with the flow and let it happen. Maybe that's got to be the plan. Jinma's down there at this point. Can we even figure out what the midfield three is? We can. So look, I think the midfield three, and it might be controversial, I don't know. I would go Amrabat in the number 6. I would go for Mason Mount, and I would go for Bruno Fernandes at the moment. I think we could definitely put Kobbie Mainoo in there. I would love to see Amrabat, Mainoo, and Mount. I think that would be a really nicely balanced, energetic, hard-working midfield three that will keep the ball. What do you do with Bruno? That's a question as well. Jeremy's down there post-contract. Rashi doesn't have form. No, he doesn't either. Jarl didn't get his pizza either. I hope you get a pizza tonight or tomorrow, man. Hopefully you enjoy it. Like, I don't think it's sabotage, but I think it's inadvertently sabotaging the forward line. I don't think he's meaning to, but I think he's got to. If he plays simple, plays to his strengths, I think you've got a hell of a player there. I think you have a player there who will do well for you. I think when he tries to overcomplicate things, he does tend to mess it about as well. Wasim says Ed Woodward, the main culprit looking after the Glazers. Yeah, he is. Ed Woodward's effect and legacy is still felt at our football club. Make no mistake about it. As well. Drop a like on the video as well, guys. We're up to 31 likes, and drop a sub if you guys are new as well. Would be really appreciated. Think we got a couple new subs today as well, so welcome to anybody who is new to the channel. Much appreciated. All the support as always. Let me see as well. Rashad says Rashi playing, drop him for the next 2 games. And Luman says to your coffee, gotta be coffee, man. Gotta be coffee. Need the caffeine. But yeah, look, I would like to see some Garnacho. I think Garnacho is a player really, really talented, really good. I think one thing he does struggle with is playing full 90 minutes. I don't think he's as effective for a full match as he is coming off the bench. But I think the only way you improve upon that is by giving him full 90s. If you only play him for 30 minutes, he'll only be able to play for 30 minutes. Let the guy play for a full match. Let's see how he does. That's what I want to see as well. Was Rashford picked for England? I think he might have been. I think he was. Rajat said last year he used to dribble 4 and 5 players. Mental. Yeah, look, it's true. That's true as well. But it came off last season more times. I think he's got to improve. I think play the game simple. I always think, look, one of the best examples of a player playing the game simply and having a lot of success, and look, he was a player, is Gareth Bale. I think Gareth Bale was a player who knew his strengths. Gareth Bale never really was a player like a Messi or a Neymar who would dribble past 4 or 5 players into the box. Bale used to take it on the outside, burst past the pace. He would cut inside, get a quick shot off. He played fairly simple compared to a lot of players at that level, but he was so effective at doing that, and I think Rashford could learn a lot from that. I really, really do. Let's see. I don't know if Rashford was picked for England. It is Gareth Southgate. I'm not looking forward to the international break. Lack of football. Dara Crow is down there. Good to see you as well. Hope all's good. Man Latata, good to see you as well. And Jeremy said, to be fair, Bale had jetpacks for legs. Yeah, look, he did. I think Rashford does as well. Rashford is rapidly quick. I think he's just got to play it simple. Absolutely. Irfan says, so Nana is a big flop. Yeah, look, so far it hasn't worked out, but I'm going to give him time. I think we've got a player there. I think he's low in confidence. I think he's got to improve himself, but I think he'll turn good. I do. And I think in the long run, it will be better than having David De Gea at the club. I do. And look, Onana might turn out to be the Claudio Bravo at Manchester United. Maybe we should have signed Diogo Costa. But I think there's a lot more to come from Onana. I think he can improve. I think he will improve. I think, yeah, look, having a back four in front of him that he feels confident will definitely help. Rajat says Man Utd is probably Le Mans. I don't know. I don't know if it is or not. Could be. Guys, thanks for 34 likes as well. Can we get up to 35 just before we drop off as well? And if guys, as well, if you are new, please consider hitting the sub button. Really, really helps the channel grow as well. I see some other people subbing as well, so thanks very much for that. Wasim said, how can a club stoop so low? It's a good question. We've absolutely fallen from grace. Make no mistake about it. It's going to take a long time for us to get back to it, but I think we can. I think we will. But it's not going to happen until the Glazer family go. It's really, really not, guys. Until that happens, it's not going to happen. Until the Glazers are gone, I think we're always going to be in this cycle. We're always going to be stuck in the mud of having a manager sacked and then having a new manager come in, having good 12 months, good 24 months maybe, and then it all falls apart again. That's the issue here as well. Irfan says, Anthony, Mount, Onana are flop, only Højlund is good. Nah, I don't think so as well. I think Mount is a good player. I think Onana will come good eventually, but I think we've got to play him through it as well. I think, yeah, look, Højlund's a brilliant player. Make no mistake about it. So much ability, so much potential. I dread to think, like, I really want to see what Højlund could do when this team starts dominating matches and making chances for him, because he's got 3 goals to this season from not a lot of service. I think there's a lot more to come from the guy. I really do. I'm excited to see how he's going to develop across the season. But yeah, guys, I'm going to leave the stream here. We'll be live again tomorrow night, so make sure to join in for that, of course. Jarl says, just quickly, Mount has not been bad the last games. No, he's been good. I actually think he's improving, for sure. But yeah, guys, thanks so much for joining in. Make sure to join in tomorrow as well. And yeah, look, let me know if there's any videos you guys want to see made. Let me know. Drop a comment on this once it ends, or I'll maybe put up a post later on tonight as well for that. So thanks so much for watching, guys. Really do appreciate all the support, and I will see you guys in the next one.